Hi everybody, and welcome to this evening's broadcast. My name is Nick Caringi. I'm the Senior Director of Operations and Education for Little League Baseball and Softball. Tonight we will cover the 50-70 baseball division. For the first time since 1999, Little League has added a division to its family of programs. The intermediate 50-70 baseball division has materialized over the past 3 years. Here to speak to us about the division is Senior Vice President of Operations and Program Development, Pat Wilson. Pat, thanks for joining us. The landscape of youth baseball has changed over the course of the past 5 to 10 years. Back when you and I played, we played our 18 games and then we moved on and played football or baseball, which was the next sport to play, obviously. Can you talk to us about how we got to this point with regards to our 50-70 intermediate division?
Well, we really didn't develop this program to compete with travel ball specifically, but we did hear from our constituents and the parents and the kids in our program, as well as the folks in the leagues around the country, that they wanted more opportunities for kids to play at a higher level, primarily for 11 and 12-year-olds. And then we heard from also league officials that for 13-year-olds, we needed a better transition to the larger diamond. And so that's how we got here today. We did 3 years of a pilot program, worked with well over 400 leagues over those 3 years and collected the feedback from those leagues and culled it down and try to come up with a flexible program that best suits all the leagues across the country and really around the world to have the opportunity to give kids an opportunity to play at an advanced level.
We'll talk about flexibility, and leagues come in all different shapes and sizes. They have different needs, and I know Dan Velte from our League Development Office will do a structural overview here in a little bit. And one of the main tenets is that flexibility. Can you talk to us a little more about that flexibility?
Well, based on the surveys, we tried to build a flexible program in the sense that leagues can structure with various ages. They could have an 11 and 12-year-old program if they want. They can have a 12-13 or 11 through 13, and I know Dan's going to talk about that a little bit more, but we also tried to build in some flexibility about how leagues can structure and combinations. And the point about flexibility, without stealing Dan's thunder, who's going to talk to us later today, is that our leagues are diverse. They big and small, rural, suburban, urban, and if the programs we build aren't flexible, it's not going to be adopted, or they won't be adopted by our local leagues, because what works in Williamsport, Pennsylvania isn't going to work in New York City.
We've learned a lot through our pitch count program, through surveys and things of that nature, and obtaining feedback. And I'm assuming that you and I will learn a lot with regards to this program as we move forward this first year. What's the type of feedback that we should be looking for as an organization from the leagues that will participate in the 50-70?
Well, as I mentioned, we worked with well over 400 leagues in the pilot program over 3 years. We're going to have, hopefully, 1,000+ leagues participating in this first year, in this inaugural year. It's the first time we've launched a new division since, as you mentioned, 1999. And we're going to learn a lot. We always do, as our leagues adopt programs that we tend to offer. And what we want to learn is that what's the best structure that still provides flexibility. What rules really resonate with the folks out in the field. So we're going to want it all. All feedback is good feedback, whether it's constructive criticism or telling us that we did some of the things that we constructed and we're on the right path.
When we come back, Dan Velte stopped by the studio to provide a structural overview before his trip to Asia. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Want to stand out in a crowd? For a great selection of official Little League gear, including hats, tees, and sweatshirts, go to littleleaguestore.net.
One Little League, with the largest teenage baseball program in the world. 3 teenage divisions, televised worldwide. To really be part of this, join a Little League. Sign up today. Little League rules for a reason.
Coaching tips, practice planning, safety and conditioning, and everything in between. the Little League Coach Resource Center. Go to littleleaguecoach.org for more information.
Hi, my name is Dan Velte, Director of League Development and Affiliation. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the structure of the new intermediate division and why the structure and flexibility is important to local leagues when operating this division. As you can imagine, throughout the pilot program, or the course of the pilot program, we researched a number of local leagues and trying to provide the best structure that would work for all of our local leagues around the world. We quickly found that all the local leagues around the world wanted a slightly different structure, and so one thing that everyone could agree upon is that flexibility would be the key to the success of this division. So I think what you'll find when we talk about the structure of this division is that flexibility is the key, and we're going to talk about a number of different options for local leagues. So let's take a closer look at the proposed structure of the intermediate 50-70 baseball division. As we just discussed, flexibility is definitely the key to this division. As we'll see a little bit later on in this presentation, there's multiple alternatives for local leagues. The first is a more competitive option for more advanced players. We also have the ability for local leagues to offer this division to every player, regardless of ability. Taking a look at the two structure options for the intermediate 50-70 baseball division. The first structure option is the district-wide competitive structure. In this structure, each local league in a district could register an intermediate team. The district administrator will develop a schedule that will allow all teams to play against one another in a competitive regular season intermediate division. The other option is your standard in-house local league structure. A local league will offer an intermediate baseball division that will consist of players from within their league who choose to play in this division regardless of ability. It's important to note that in either structure, tournament teams must be formed by individual leagues or in a combination of leagues with regional approval. The district-wide competitive structure allows a local league to participate in a division that is designed for more advanced players to play together during the regular season. So for example, each league in a district forms one or two teams that will compete against one another in a competitive regular season intermediate division. This will be done through interleague play. It is important to remember that players will be permitted to participate in multiple divisions during the regular season. This is new on the baseball side, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. The local league in-house structure will essentially allow a local league to simply add the intermediate division to the programs offered. In this structure, most, if not all, of the games will be played in-house and would not involve any type of interleague against other leagues. You would typically see this structure in larger leagues that have enough players to form teams to compete in the intermediate division completely in-house. Some other key notes about the structures that we just discussed. The first structure allows area leagues that do not have the ability to adjust their fields to play in the intermediate division to work with other leagues in the district who do have a 50-70 style field. We think that early on in the infancy of this division, you're going to have a number of leagues that are working to adjust their fields, or you may just simply have a few leagues in a district that have fields already, and these structures allow those leagues to work together. It also gives local leagues the ability to offer more competitive regular season play, and it does not require local leagues to limit the intermediate baseball division to more advanced competitive players if they're interested in offering the division for all players regardless of ability. Moving on to the age structures of the new intermediate 50-70 baseball division. In order to provide local leagues the greatest amount of flexibility when offering the intermediate baseball division, the league age structure will be 11 through 13. Leagues will have the authority to structure the program in the following ways: 11 through 13, 12 through 13, 11 and 12s, 13 only, 12 only. Different areas of the world had suggestions about what range would be best for this division. By structuring this division as 11 through 13, this allows local leagues the flexibility to structure this division with the appropriate age range that best fits their local leagues. So as you can see, as we discussed early on, the flexibility is really what is going to move this program along. And this gives local leagues around the world the opportunity to set the age structure in a way that really works best for them. Staying on the age structure of the intermediate 50-70 baseball division, Players will be permitted to be selected to and participate in multiple divisions during the early stages of the intermediate 50-70 baseball division. So for example, the structure will allow a player league age 12 to participate in a competitive intermediate 50-70 division, as well as providing him or her the ability to play in the major league division of their local league. Information from the pilot program indicates that players in this age group prefer to play both with their friends and also in a competitive environment. So for the first time in the baseball division, players will be permitted to be drafted to and play in multiple divisions during the regular season. This allows leagues the additional flexibility so that players don't have to choose to participate in either the Little League Major Division or the Intermediate Baseball Division. They can now do both. I think this is a very important component to this division, simply because a number of leagues are wondering if this division is going to take away players from the Major League Division or cause them to no longer have a Major League Division. You now have an opportunity to provide a program for more competitive players, and at the same time, they can still compete in the Major League Division with their friends and classmates. If a player plays in 60% of the regular season games in each division, as of June 15th, he or she will be eligible to participate in either the Major 10 and 11 tournament for players league age 11 or Intermediate Baseball Division for tournament play. So as you can see, it is quite possible for players league age 11 or 12 who play in multiple divisions to be eligible for multiple tournament teams. These players will only have the ability to choose one team in tournament play to participate on. Much like the 12-year-olds, players league age 13 may also be selected to play in multiple divisions. A player league age 12 or 13 may be selected to play in one or more regular season games on a junior league team and or an intermediate 50-70 baseball division team. If a player plays in 60% of the regular season games in each division as of June 15th, he or she will be eligible to play in either the junior or intermediate 50-70 baseball division for tournament. As you've heard from the overview, there's a great deal of flexibility in this new division. We look forward to getting feedback from our local leagues. As this program is still in the infancy stages, we look forward to moving the program and the division forward. I would invite all of you to take a look at the intermediate resource page located on the Little League website. Thank you all for listening. Best of luck to everyone this season.
Teenage boys come in every height, weight, and shape. Fortunately, one game fits all. Teen baseball goes to age 18. Sign up and get in the game.
We're back with Pat Wilson and discussing the intermediate 50-70 baseball division. Pat, as leagues convert their fields, there was a question about the fence distance. Could there be a fence distance change between the regular season and tournament? What is our thought with regards to fence distance?
Well, Nick, it's funny. I heard you were going to ask me the big 5 questions from our Facebook chat, and this question is definitely at the top of the list. And we are looking at a fence distance change between regular season and tournament. And we're looking at a minimum of 200 feet for the regular season, and then we're going to bump it up a little bit for tournament. Obviously, tournament, as Joe Losh, my predecessor, used to say, is a whole new ball game, and it's played at a competitive level, a higher competition, and so we're going to bump it up to 225 for the minimum, and hopefully that gives leagues the ability to find the fields that are available to implement the program during the regular season. But then what we really want to do is ask DAs to find their best fields that are a little bit larger, that they play their tournaments on, because obviously you'll have the best of the best from the regular season playing on their tournament teams in most cases.
You mentioned the Facebook chat that we did as part of our interactive rollout to the constituents. One of the main questions surrounded the bats and what type of bats can be used and why.
The bats that will be used in the intermediate 50-70 division will be, we're going to use the junior bat rule. So they'll be able to use 2 5/8 barrel bats under the same guidelines with regards to alloy and composite bats. So they're going to be using junior bats and the same junior bat regulations in 110.
We talked a little bit about the age spectrum in the previous segment with regards to flexibility. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that came about?
Well, we started out with a 12-13 division in the first year of the pilot program, and we heard from leagues that they wanted to have the ability, because it was a pilot program, and what we were really doing is trying to learn about what would work best at the local level. So a number of leagues in the second season asked for the ability to implement with 11 and 12 as well. And so in culling all that information and gathering it all, we really felt that a blend of 11 to 13 with the local leagues having the discretion to structure within that gives us the greatest amount of flexibility. And it sounds like I keep saying flexibility, but we really feel that when we build rules that are flexible, it gives leagues the best opportunity to implement at the local level. And so with that flexibility, leagues can pick and choose. And I'm sure we're going to see leagues that operate 11 and 12, 12 and 13, and some that may just offer a 13-year-old only program, because the 11 and 12s are going to be playing in the major division, the traditional major division.
Well, that flexibility is important simply because every league is different and they have different numbers of kids and players. So obviously that makes a lot of sense. Will the intermediate program have its own set of dedicated rules?
Well, the best way I can describe it, and I came up with this kind of terminology at the new DA clinic, is that if it was a car, it would be built on the chassis of a junior program. We want to build all the advanced rules and advanced play of the junior program to give those better skilled players the opportunity to play with leading off and things like that. The bat rules, as I mentioned before, and so it's going to be modeled after the junior baseball rules, and the rule books are already in development, and we're going to have the new rules and guidelines out to the leagues, in the same time frame, mid to late December, and all the rules will be contained in it.
One of the more popular questions on the chat was, if a league chartered solely the 50-70 division and did not charter the major division, would they then have the opportunity to come down and be permitted to participate at the tournament level for the majors division?
Great question, Nick. Number one, we are not strongly encouraging leagues to just offer just the 50-70 and not the traditional 46-60 for 11 and 12-year-olds. And while leagues can certainly do it, there's no rules that prohibit it. The one concern we have is that we don't want to disenfranchise those players that aren't ready for that transition, that aren't able to play at a more skilled level on a bigger field. So that's one caution I would have for leagues that go this route. They're certainly well within their abilities to do it. And so if they do it, and those players play up on the 50-70 field all year, then those players are going to have to stay up and only be eligible for tournament. What we say is that a 12-year-old, for example, will have the ability to play in the 46-60 major division and the 50-70 intermediate division or intermediate 50-70 division simultaneously, really for the first time. However, they have to play in 60% of the games in each division to qualify for tournament, just like our regular tournament rule for all the divisions. And then once they've qualified in 2 tournament teams or qualified for 2 tournament teams, they're going to have to choose which tournament team they want to participate on. So, we're not going to allow a group of players that played in the intermediate 50-70 all year to come down after they've played on a bigger field and really play in the tournament as a unit program, or displace other players that they haven't played with during the regular season, because we just don't think that's fair. And so we're going to make them qualify with the 60% rule in the division to be eligible for tournament play.
Pat, before we wrap up, is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Well, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the folks in District 57, California, Dave Wetmore and the folks again in Livermore, California. They're going to be the hosts for the inaugural and hopefully many years to come Intermediate 50-70 World Series. And so we thank them for stepping up and agreeing to host that for us. And so we're really excited about the event in early August out in Livermore, California. The other thing is, Nick, I hate to harp on it, but we're going to learn a lot. And we're going to need the leagues and the districts to give us lots of feedback to help us grow this program. And our constituents are looking for that advanced transitional program it's going to help the players stay in our program and matriculate through our program. And so that feedback is going to be critical. I look forward to seeing everyone out on the clinic trail and roadshow trail and talking more about the Intermediate 50/70 program. And I would just encourage people, if you have questions, ask. There's no silly question, and that's what the staff's here for. So we want to be your best resource really for getting the information you need to implement the program at a local level.
Will about do it for us tonight for tonight's broadcast. Thanks to Pat Wilson, also Chris Downs, and the rest of the communications department for their help tonight. Have a good night.